It's me, it's JEB, here with part 2 of my Resident Evil Zero Explained series. Now, if you're trying to learn about the Resident Evil Zero story, I'd recommend watching my first video first, since I go over the first half of the story. In this video, I'm going to try and make it a bit shorter and just go over the more important information, because I feel like, for how much of the story I covered in my last video, 40 minutes was a bit too long. And yeah, I'm just going to try and shorten it a bit, so like, there might be sections which don't really mean anything, they get cut. Nothing important, obviously, just like smaller parts, but that's just it. That's my bullshit. Enjoy the video. After Billy and Rebecca regroup, they have to try and find this key so they can get into different parts of the mansion. However, they have to split up because of this puzzle you have to do. I took Billy in, and as you go in with Billy, you get attacked by a new creature, the Hunters. These scaly bastards are one of the many different BOWs that are made by Umbrella. In this game, we don't see too much of them, I'm pretty sure, unless I'm going blank. This is the only time we actually see them in Resident Evil Zero, but they come back a lot in the other games, and they're much stronger in the other games, because I believe this version is only a beta version, and then it's going to turn into the much stronger versions we see in later games. However, skipping forward a little bit, the duo will open a door, but this door doesn't take them to another normal mansion room. It takes them to this massive kind of control room, where at the bottom there's 3 little slots where it looks like we can fit 3 gravestones, and these just happen to be the 3 gravestones we collected earlier. After putting all 3 gravestones down, the building that Rebecca and Billy were in started to rumble. The building descended down, leading them to a new area of the mansion. As they walk across the bridge, you start to notice that the other side of the mansion is actually a church, which is kind of interesting. However, as you get to the church, only one person can go in, because one person is standing on the pressure plate, which unlocks the door. This time I chose to take Rebecca in to be a bit different. However, upon entrance you'll be attacked by this monstrosity. This right here is a bat that was infected with the progenitor virus to make it grow in size and obviously grow in blood first. Eventually, Rebecca is able to defeat the giant bat, where after she uses her hookshot to get up to the same spot the bat smashed through from. After you get up to the top, you get down to the bottom, where you can let Billy through, and after you let Billy through, you'll notice this secret lift, where this secret lift takes you to another secret location, which was hidden under the church. As you get to the bottom of the lift, you'll be greeted to this massive library filled with hundreds and hundreds of books. However, this sheet of paper right here will stand out. This sheet of paper is a torn sheet of paper from Marcus's diary. Just in case you forgot who Marcus was, he was the crazy psycho who we saw who had the book earlier, which was literally titled Evil, where he was basically saying how he made the progenitor virus. I'm not sure if this page is meant to be ripped from that book, but let's just read the page of the book. Trouble is unlikely, but I close my babies up in a special capsule, but it won't be safe if I hold it to myself. I'll find it in that place. To hide a leaf, put it in the forest. Now what he's doing here, he's obviously hiding the progenitor virus with all the other things they have in the lab to hide it. The reason why he says to hide a leaf, put it in the forest, is because obviously a forest has loads and loads of leaves, and a science laboratory has loads of things which look virusy. Don't know if you noticed, but I don't understand science at all. Anyway, the next page in this piece of paper, or I guess the flipped over side, it says, to open the capsule, the special stripping agent is necessary. No way Spencer's lackeys could figure out how to make it. However, we were not 2 of Spencer's lackeys. We are Rebecca Chambers and Billy Cohen. And if you remember from the beginning, Rebecca Chambers is a medic, and she knows how science works. So basically she's not me. And she would know how to make the stripping agent, but we need to figure out where it is. Now in this next part of the game, Billy and Rebecca will have to split up. Billy will go down to the library, and Rebecca will go over to the labs where she can try and create the stripping agent. She finds the canister, and she finds both the chemicals. Meanwhile, Billy is downstairs in the library, where he finds a letter. The letter seems to be a congratulations letter for graduating, signed by James Marcus. Now if we take a close look at the picture, we can see this man here with the long hair, who looks an awful lot like the man we saw on the mountain in the beginning of the game and the mysterious man who we've seen. However, take a little look at that date. Your graduation 1939. Now we know that Resident Evil 0 takes place in 1998, which would make this long-haired man 59 years old, and he certainly does not look 59 years old. Billy even thinks of this himself and comes up with this little theory.
Judging from the age, that guy could be Marcus's son or grandson.
Moving back to Rebecca, she got the sterilizing agent, put it in the slot so she could get the key, so she could meet up with Billy again. And yes, that zombie in there does indeed attack you. After this, we'll find Billy, who's found a cable cut for them to escape in. He then tells Rebecca this so they can meet up.
Billy, I found something here that might make you happy. It's an aerial cable car.
Really? That's great. Now we can get out.
Yep, let's regroup as soon as possible. Over.
The duo will regroup, where they'll get the cable car back online, and it will look like everything is going smoothly. Until... Billy had fallen to God knows where. Rebecca was all alone. But that was the least of our problems. One of those leech creatures attacks Rebecca. Luckily, Rebecca manages to defeat it with not much struggle. And then she'll manage to fix the cable cut up again, where it's time for her to not only escape, but to save her new friend. Now that Rebecca had gotten her first stop, it was time for her to try and save Billy. Because right now, survival wasn't the only thing that she cared about. Because on this strange journey through this strange mansion, filled with many strange creatures, she had built up quite a good friendship with Billy. Even though at first she was terrified of Billy because of the stories she'd heard, she'd found out that Billy was secretly a nice person who'd saved her ass many times, and she'd saved his ass many times. And this was one of the times she was going to have to save his ass. Anyway, on your quest to try and find Billy, you'll find this on the CCTV cameras. The Tyrant. Or more specifically, the Proto-Tyrant. We'll be seeing the big boy version of this in Resident Evil 1. But for now we have the prototype. But that still does not mean he's not dangerous. And you know that we're definitely going to have to fight him later. Also, it turns out I'm a liar. There are more hunters, some sharp hair. Now Rebecca had operated a lift so she could go down, so she could go back on her search for Billy. However, as she got to the bottom, the doors opened, and she found a familiar face.
Don't shoot! You're alive.
Are you okay, Rebecca?
Where is everybody?
They should have arrived here before me. Haven't you seen them? That's unfortunate. If we go straight from here, we should arrive at an old mansion which Umbrella uses for research. Come on, let's go.
Wait, I've got to find Billy.
Billy Cohen? You mean you found that criminal?
Yes, but we got separated and...
No point worrying about him. He won't make it. Come on, let's go.
Sir, please. I need to find him. Don't worry, I'll catch up with you.
Rebecca... All right. Just be careful.
I never saw him again.
Hang on. What did you just say about a mansion?
We should arrive at an old mansion.
Yes, I know, I'm doing my bit. But that mansion he was referring to is the mansion that we will see in Resident Evil 1. And I'm not going to spoil anything now, just in case this is your first ride of the series. But we know the stuff that goes on in that mansion. And we know the hell that he's on for. And we know why Rebecca probably never saw him again. Moving on from that, Rebecca was making her way through this new sort of facility where something didn't seem right. Almost like she was being watched.
What is that?
The Proto-Tyrant. And now Rebecca was trapped with it. Eventually you'll defeat him, giving yourself some temporary salvation. After this, Rebecca will get in the lift. However, a certain someone will be watching her.
Playtime is over. You and your friends no longer amuse me. Good riddance. Now nothing will stop me from getting my revenge.
You heard him say it himself. Now he's done playing around and he wants to get rid of Rebecca and Billy immediately. After Rebecca gets to the top, she looks out to the river where she sees Billy unconscious. Luckily Billy wakes up, but he's still trapped in a current where he goes again to God knows where. After doing some searching around the facility, you'll find a lift which takes you to a new place where there are more zombies. However, eventually you'll find a little staircase that leads down to a sewer sort of system where you will find Billy.
Billy!
Rebecca, where am I?
You're safe now. Are you okay? What could have done this?
They must have been used as test subjects in Marcus's research. He must have kept messing around with the mother virus.
Billy?
Anyway, now that we found out that Billy was safe, and we found out of more of the wrongdoings of James Marcus, it was time to finally try and escape. Until you're attacked by these weird frogs. I don't know why they're frogs here. I'm very confused. Now that we have Billy and Rebecca together, if we go back a little bit, there was a forklift, and to operate this forklift we need a battery. So we had to find this battery and charge the battery up so we could lift Rebecca up so she can get the keycard up top. But obviously it's not going to be that simple, because as Billy and Rebecca are walking around to try and find all the things they need, a little clock comes up. And he's back for round 2. The Proto-Tyrant. This time he'll be a bit harder. He'll be throwing you all around the place, but eventually you will be able to defeat him. But even after they defeat the proto-tyrant, nothing's that simple, because they find the battery in a room. However, the room is filled with test tubes with a strange-looking insect-like creature in them. However, Billy gives Rebecca a boost so she can get the battery, until... However, the duo will defeat the creatures, then going to the other places they can get all the chemicals so they can fill up the battery, where they'll put the battery in the forklift, so Billy will be able to lift Rebecca up so she can get the keycard. Now Rebecca and Billy had the keycard, they put the keycard into this door, which led them into this room.
Welcome, young ones. So glad you have joined the party. You are the guests of honor. After all, it's your wake.
Who are you? Dr. Marcus?
No, you can't be. What's going on?
10 years ago, Spencer had me assassinated.
Time to die, Doctor.
I will take over your research.
Wesker, Birkin.
However, something wondrous happened. It took the T-virus inside of my queen years to procreate my new life.
I live. Now I will have my revenge on Umbrella, and the world will burn in an inferno of hate.
You'll pay for what you've done.
We'll see which one of us is gonna die.
Now, just in case you didn't catch that, because it is a little bit confusing, the mysterious man who we've seen with the long hair is indeed James Marcus. However, not exactly, because after Spencer got William Birkin and Albert Wesker to assassinate James Marcus, his dead body was consumed by the leeches he's been spending all these years of research on, which took over his body, kind of bringing him back to life. However, it's not really James Marcus, it's the Queen Leech who believes itself to be James Marcus and is vowing revenge on Umbrella and the world. And this is the last fucking time I'm saying it. William Birkin, stop acting cool. You're like the most lame Resident Evil villain, other than that cunt from Resident Evil 5 and that wanker from Resident Evil 6. Anyway, now you're getting a fight with James Marcus, or more accurately, the Queen Leech, where eventually you will manage to finish it off. For now. After defeating it, you'll find 2 keys that were on its body for some reason, which you'll use to get out of this place. After you go through this door, you'll go to the left, where you'll take one last ride to finally get the fuck out of this nightmare. But it's not gonna be that simple.
It's the Queen!
The Queen Leech is back, and she is not ready to let Rebecca or Billy leave.
Who activated the self-destruct system?
Seat is equipped with a self-destruct device in the basement.
God fucking damn it, Birkin.
Set it off.
And you wonder why no one likes you.
Come on, can't this thing move any faster? Shit!
And now Rebecca and Billy were trapped with the Queen Leech once again, but now it was even stronger. After fighting it a little bit, Rebecca realized that the Queen Leech is resistant to sunlight, and saw there's 4 panels around which she needs to open. But while she opens them, Billy has to defend her, which he does.
Sunlight. We need to open the windows.
Follow me! You work on the windows.
Got it.
I'll use my charm to distract Her Majesty.
And eventually, after you have all of the panels down, the window will open, leading to one of the most badass endings in the Resident Evil franchise.
Billy!
Hey, Queenie! Feast on this!
Billy!
Rebecca, hurry!
Hey, that must be the old mansion that Enrico was talking about. I guess it's time to say goodbye. Officially, Lieutenant Billy Cohen is dead.
Yeah, I'm just a zombie now. Thank you, Rebecca.
Now that may not have looked like it, but that was a bittersweet ending. So let's go over what happened. Billy and Rebecca finally leave the mansion hellhole they've been trapped in for the whole night, with the mansion blowing up behind them, for them to finally get a bit of rest.
Enrico was talking about.
Rebecca points out the mansion that Enrico was talking about, and we know this to be the Spencer mansion from Resident Evil 1. This mansion is going to be where Rebecca is going to spend her next nightmare very soon. However, here's the other part. Rebecca takes Billy Cohen's dog tags, saying that he's now officially dead. She does this so she can go home and tell everyone that Billy Cohen's dead, so Billy Cohen can get a new name and a new life. The reason why she did this is because obviously no one will believe her that Billy Cohen is secretly innocent for the crimes which he's been charged for, so if he goes back it'd be an automatic death sentence. After this, they both give each other one final salute, where Billy Cohen makes a joke that can be interpreted in a few different ways.
Yeah, just a zombie now.
Now obviously he just said that he would be a zombie as a joke because they've seen a bunch of zombies and now she said he's dead. But here comes the dark part. Billy Cohen never returns in any Resident Evil game or Resident Evil movie, book, anything. We never ever see Billy Cohen again other than this game, and there's absolutely no sign of him. Now this is one of the biggest mysteries in the whole Resident Evil franchise. What happened to Billy Cohen? I'm not really going to go into it. I might even do a separate video on this, even though there are many videos you can watch. A couple theories is that Billy Cohen is just very well hidden, and maybe one day will come back in a Resident Evil game. However, I do doubt this because not many people know too much about Resident Evil 0, so if they did bring him back, I'm not sure if it would cause too much of a big reaction. A second theory is that when Billy went into the Arclay Forest, he was attacked by the creatures that were out there, and him being left defenseless was killed by the creatures out there. And now this is probably the most popular theory. The theory that Billy Cohen is Nemesis. Now I'm gonna say now I don't really buy into this theory, but I do find it interesting. So obviously Nemesis was originally a test subject who we never actually know who it is, who then was turned into Nemesis. Now some people believe that Wesker, as he was surveilling Billy for this whole time, probably saw Billy as a good person to use for the experiments, and then kidnapped Billy after this, taking him back to do experiments on, turning him into Nemesis. However, I feel like if this was the case, there would be at least a smidge of proof that Capcom would leave us, telling us that Nemesis is Billy. And obviously I know that the original Resident Evil 3 did come out before Resident Evil 0, but if they wanted to make this theory like definitely true, maybe they could have done something in the Resident Evil 3 remake that came out in 2020. But that's all on that. And that's all there is in the game. I just want to mention this quickly. It's absolutely nothing to do with the story, but there's this thing called Wesker mode where you play as Wesker and a mind-controlled version of Rebecca, and it's so fucking cool. I'm definitely gonna have to replay the game again at one point with Wesker mode turned on. But that's the end of this video. I actually really enjoyed Resident Evil 0 a lot more than I thought I would, because obviously, you know me, I'm not a big fan of the original controls of the Resident Evil games, but I looked past that and thought the story was really good. And next we'll be playing Resident Evil 1, the original, although we'll be playing the HD remake, which is basically the same thing, just with better graphics. Anyway, that's that. I still need to record the gameplay for that, so it'll be out in a little bit, not too long, but it won't be very soon either. So, thanks a lot for watching, I really appreciate it. If you want to listen to any of the songs which I've put in this video, the background music, it's mainly from the Resident Evil and Mass Effect soundtrack, they'll be in the description. Thanks a lot for watching,